It's official. We're no longer homeowners. Hi guys, I'm coming to you from our upstairs room at Peggy's sister's house where we've been staying since the Wednesday before we closed. That was the day we got our bedroom furniture moved out. It was a long week before the closing. We had originally agreed to close on November 15th, a Monday. A couple of weeks before that, our realtor told us the buyers were asking if we'd be willing to close on the 12th, which was Friday. We assumed they wanted to do that so they could begin moving in over the weekend. We weren't opposed to the idea, but we didn't want to overly stress ourselves trying to hurry either, so we didn't commit to anything. The first week of November, we really started getting serious about getting rid of our furniture. We gave our dining room table and chairs to my sister Sherry and her husband Curtis. Then we put our huge entertainment center, the wicker chair and couch that were in our patio room, and my office desk and bookcase up for sale on Facebook Marketplace. I quickly found out listing items on Facebook Marketplace can turn into a full-time job, fielding all the messages you get asking about the sale items. The entertainment center was the first item to sell, which kind of surprised me because it was really large. It was red, so you would need a big wall to put it up against, and it would need to match the decor of your house. But it went quickly. We did have a good price on it at $500. Next, we sold my desk. I really didn't want to have to sell that. It was a big, beautiful desk and bookcase set, but we weren't going to have room in storage for them, and when we ultimately settled back down, we thought we probably wouldn't have a good place to put them anyways. Finally, the wicker furniture, which I thought we'd probably sell first, was the last to sell. I got more inquiries on it than anything. An awful lot of them wanted to know if it was outdoor furniture, and it wasn't, so that turned away a large number. We finally lowered the price some, and a woman sent her son-in-law over to pick it up, and everybody was happy about that. The biggest reason we hadn't got started more seriously moving to this point was we were waiting for the buyer's appraiser to come and appraise the house, since if it didn't meet his lender's requirements, he wouldn't be able to get the loan, so we were waiting on that. Finally, on the 8th of November, we got the results of that. Everything was good, so that was the last hurdle to know that the sale was going to go through, and at that point we really got serious about getting out of the house. Our realtor asked us again about closing on Friday. At this point, she told us that the couple buying the house were actually getting married on Saturday, and they were hoping to close Friday so after their wedding they could bring their families over to show their new house. We thought that sounded really nice and wanted to be able to do it for them. It was going to put a lot of pressure on us, and we were a little put out since we felt like they should have written that into the contract originally, and we would have been planning all along for getting out on that date. We spent Monday afternoon and Tuesday packing stuff into totes. We went to our storage unit and rearranged what we already had in there to make more room for everything else. Then on Wednesday, we rented a U-Haul and began moving the furniture we were keeping. We got the bedroom packed up and moved that over there. So at that point, we needed to move some of our clothes over to Peggy's sister's house. We plan on staying with Peggy's sister Patty and her husband Alan temporarily while we locate the vehicle and trailer that we'll be using in our travels. Unfortunately, Peggy and I had to do most of the moving ourselves. Our daughter Sarah and her husband Johnny had made a prior commitment a couple of months previously, and at that point they obviously didn't know when we were going to be closing. So they weren't able to come out and help us until Friday. Our niece Jess came over Wednesday for a few hours and helped. So we were really thankful for that. We waited as long as possible before committing to closing on Friday. We finally called our realtor Thursday and told her that we would do it on Friday. And we were still really worried about whether we'd be able to get out in time. We rented a truck again on Friday, and Sarah and Johnny got home and began helping us. We were going to give our refrigerator to them, and we had a couple of other large items that we were going to take to their house. So they helped us get that stuff loaded up. We were supposed to close at 4 o'clock, so Peggy and I needed to leave around 2:30 to get out to Patty's and get cleaned up and change our clothes and then drive over to the place where the closing was happening. So we did that, and Sarah and John stayed and finished packing everything up, and then they drove the U-Haul over to their house to wait for us. They were just a tremendous help, and we couldn't have ever got it done without their assistance. Finally, the closing happened at 4 o'clock. We signed a lot of papers. We got it done. The buyers were just as happy as they could be. At this point, Peggy and I were just glad to be done. We were too exhausted to celebrate. It's been a while since the last episode, and in between that episode and selling the house, a lot has happened, so I thought I'd tell you a little bit about some of that. We had to address some health issues with our dog Phoebe. She developed a large mass on the elbow of her left front leg, and we didn't notice it actually because it was kind of underneath. We didn't notice it until it got really big. We took her to 2 different vets, and they both suspected it was a malignant tumor and said we should get it removed as soon as possible. We scheduled surgery, but that ended up being a couple of weeks before that could happen. So Phoebe had to wear the dreaded cone of shame for about 3.5 weeks to keep her from chewing on that tumor. Then after the surgery, to keep her from breaking the stitches open. About a week after the surgery, the vet called and said the tumor was benign, so we were really happy. Everything turned out great, and Phoebe is doing just fine now. In other news, turns out 3 months is about as long as Peggy can go without seeing her youngest daughter. She checked and found out she could book a round-trip flight from Seattle to Oklahoma City for only $170. So she booked a flight for Lindsay to come down on my birthday weekend. Lindsay got there on Thursday night, the night before my birthday. Then Friday morning, the 5th, she took me to Waffle Champ, and we had a real nice breakfast. Then that afternoon, Sarah and Kaylee came over along with Jess, our niece, and we all went to the new First American Museum, which is near downtown. It's a beautiful museum, really educational experience, and we really had a nice afternoon. Here's a fun fact. Peggy is part Osage, so her and our daughters and granddaughter all enjoyed learning a little bit about their ancestral history. We followed the museum trip up with dinner that evening at Deep Deuce Grill. Johnny, Sarah's husband, met us down there, and we had a really enjoyable dinner, and it was just a great birthday. Finally, in all the excitement and stress that's been going on the past month, I came down with shingles. Not much fun. However, I felt like I really got off pretty easy. It could have been a lot worse. But my advice is if you are eligible to take the shingles vaccine, I would definitely recommend doing it. And I will be doing that myself because I don't want to have to deal with that again. This episode's run a little long. I've really got even more news to bring you, but I want to go ahead and end this episode now. So I'll see if I can't get another video put together here pretty soon, and maybe in a week or so we'll have a follow-up with the other exciting things that have been happening. Stay tuned, and we'll see y'all then.